It's always scary every time I say that.
They either stop believing you or they turn it around and make it a challenge for you.
I think like when you look at all those things, like, you know, life's this incredible journey and there's many paths that you can go on to get to the destination.
I bought a second house at 21, I bought a third house at 23.
Hey, g'day everyone. It's Simon Deering and Heath Bassett, the co-founders from You&Me Personalised Property Services. Thanks for tuning in as always. This video is really about our individual journeys, where we've come from and how we've got to this position as co-founders in one of the most successful buyers agency businesses in Western Australia and Australia. I've been in real estate since the horse and cart and got into it back in 1945.
When the war began.
When the war began, it was post-war. You know, things were bad, things were tough, and there was a lot of prosperity around the brightness that I brought. No.
So he sold potatoes.
But look, I'm 46 now. I got into real estate when I was 18. I've been doing this for more than half of my life. It's always scary every time I say that, but real estate has been a massive part of my life, of my world. It's my fabric. I first got into real estate with LJ Hooker. My first ever office was in Morley. I chose Morley over a very successful office in Wembley because the principal sort of reminded me of James Bond. He was really suave, really switched on, and I thought, oh, this guy is money and he's going to help me make so much money. But in fact, he liked playing lots of golf and didn't really do much. He had a large rent roll and was never there to help me. So I only lasted 6 months in that office. Then moved to LJ Hooker in Scarborough with my principal, RJ Kevin, who I'm still in contact with now. Hell of a lot of respect for that man. He taught me a lot about real estate. He taught me a lot about doing the right things in real estate and doing the right things for the right reasons, not just chasing commissions. I was really successful with the LJ Hooker community, and then I transitioned to Real Estate Champions, where I was able to, I guess, take that next step in real estate and start writing some really, really good numbers, becoming a top performer in Western Australia. I then moved over east. I have sold in Sydney, I've sold in Brisbane, I've sold in Melbourne. I've spent some time in New York doing real estate as well, and in Canada. Now I did that to really get an overview on what real estate was like internationally, and just acquiring a particular set of skills and different knowledge and learning from different people in the industry. It then led me back to Perth, where I was I guess in charge of a company called Purple Bricks. We really wanted to bring fairness to the industry, but really what that taught me was that there's a reason why real estate agents charge what they charge. There's a hell of a lot of work that goes involved into it, and it's largely why the Purple Bricks idea or concept didn't work here in Australia. And then it led me to this buyers agency business, which we created 6 years ago with the co-founder Heath Bassett. It's been a hell of a ride. I'm so fortunate to, you know, as much as we have confrontation on a daily or bi-daily sort of basis, it's super lucky and privileged to have, you know, connected with you back in 2015, mate. Couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't imagine running a business without you, because we constantly challenge each other. We're constantly trying to be better, and we're always doing it for the right reasons, which is you, the buyer. So that's my journey in a nutshell.
Yep.
Heath, what about yours?
Yeah, so I've been buying, selling, investing for the last 17 years now. I always get stuck on 16, and it was 15 before that. And I bought my first property at 20 years old. And it was off the back of a challenge from my dad, a backhanded challenge. I kept telling Dad that I was going to buy real estate when I was 19. When you tell your dad or your mum and dad every single week that you're going to buy property, they either stop believing you or they turn it around and make it a challenge for you. So my dad turned around and made it, unknowingly to me, a challenge for me. He turned around and said, mate, you're never going to buy real estate. Stop talking rubbish and don't talk about it again. I was like, you know what? Wow, that hurt. My dad, who I looked up to since I was a child, has just told me I can't do something and to go away, stop talking rubbish. So, you know, some people bury their head in the sand. I rose above that and said, you know what? Screw you, for a lack of a better word. Screw you, Dad.
Yep.
6 months later, I went to him and said, I've got a deposit for a house. I'm buying a house. I told you I could do it. And he laughed at me. He laughed at me and I was so confused. I said, why are you laughing at me? He said, mate, because I know that if I keep believing you and everything you say, you just don't do it. So what I did instead is I challenged you not to do something, knowingly knowing that you're going to do something.
Which is it's your makeup. The second someone tells you can't do something, you die trying.
Yeah, so I bought a house at 21 in Tasmania. I bought a second house at 20. I bought a second house at 21. I bought a third house at 23 and blah, 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 blah. Bought multiple and sold multiple houses now. I'm still in that space. I'm 37. Always forget how old I am. I'm 37. I've still got a lot of accumulation to go.
Early dementia.
I'm fortunate enough to now buy houses in cash and do a lot of things in cash. But it's not a story to tell you how good I am. It's just my story.
Yep.
I'm still in the next 6 months buying and accumulating 4 properties. If you want to know where and why and how, come and chat to us, but I won't tell you now. But in the next 6 months, I'm going to buy another 4 properties and who knows where that leads. It's sort of more like what can I do with what I've got now? And, we'll worry about the strategy after that accumulation phase and see where we need to be. I've got one that I bought in January that I'm looking to renovate and flip to make a nice tidy profit. And what I get from that may determine what I do after the 4.
Yep.
So that's my story in what I've accumulated. In regards to being in property, I met Simon in 2015. And it was off the back of I was travelling. I met Simon before I travelled. I travelled in 2016, and I was sitting in Darwin. I'd actually taken a year off work. I was sitting in Darwin after travelling through Europe. And sitting at a backpackers, and Simon goes, "Mate, what are you doing?" Just living the high life, just doing whatever I want to do. He goes, "I've got a job for you." I said, "Oh, what is it?" He goes, "I can't tell you till you come back." So I looked at it, come back to Perth, and no word of a lie. He hadn't told me what this job was. I'm on the car, I'm listening to the radio, an ad pops up. He talked about it before. It was Purple Bricks. I'd never heard of this company in my life. I get to there and he goes, blah, blah, blah. Well, however the conversation went, it's with Purple Bricks. And I was like, mate, this can't be any crazier. You would never believe it. I just heard an ad for Purple Bricks and I've never heard of this company before. Purple Bricks was both a mistake and something, a flower from the ground, a bamboo from the ground.
Yeah.
What Purple Bricks taught me is how to manage a ridiculous amount of property, working 15-hour days with no time off and for little money.
Yep.
But that also taught me worth.
Value.
It taught me self-worth and where it should be. I sort of don't mention this too often, but I then made another mistake in real estate. I followed Simon. Now that sounds bad, but the reality is I followed him to another company that didn't work out. And that's not because it didn't work out because of Simon. It just didn't work out for multiple reasons. An Eastern-based company trying to get their way into Perth. But, I had many opportunities. I had 15 interviews with different companies in, wanting my services. And I almost went with an LJ Hooker as well. Yep. Insane opportunity. But the reality is, I wanted to run my own show. And truth be told, I wanted to follow Simon, where he went as well. It didn't work out for a multitude of reasons, but it doesn't matter. It's how we started the business. And if we were both successful, instead of making that mistake, I don't think we'd be here now.
No, 100%.
So it was a mistake turned into a sunflower.
I think when you look at all those things, life's this incredible journey and there's many paths that you can go on to get to the destination. The destination isn't actually the important thing. It's the journey that you go on, and you can get to that destination, lessons. Then you can go back and you can create different paths. And we've learnt so many life experiences, and the one thing that led us to creating this business was the fact that we realised we could not march to the beat of anyone else's drum. Whatever we wanted to create, we had to create on our own terms, to do it our own way, where we can be unapologetically us. We weren't going to work for big corporates where the message is how much we care when we know behind closed doors. It wasn't how much you care, it was how much money can you make. So when we created this, the journey that we've got to, it was about the people that we work for and creating a positive impact and just delivering on a promise.
Yeah. And it was never about money.
No,
it's not. Money comes.
You
money
need to
goes.
feed your family.
Yeah.
But it was delivering on that promise, doing the right thing. Where the thing that I absolutely love about Heath, there's so many things that annoy the hell out of me, but the thing that I love about Heath is his honesty and his loyalty. It is just black and white, and sometimes he just cut through so much nonsense to give you this hard truth that nobody likes hearing, but you respect it, and that's our journey. That's where we've got to, and it's amazing.
And there's so much more to come.
I look forward to so much more to come.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. So guys, that's our story. Our personal story turned into where the business come into.
Reach out, talk to us, tell us your story. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. So guys, until next time, as always, happy investing.
Happy investing.